The movie opens high up in the breathtaking snow-capped mountains. Sasha, a highly skilled rock climber, is resting at a high-altitude base camp with her climbing partner and boyfriend Tommy inside their tent. Sasha meticulously tapes up her blistered fingers, preparing for the grueling ascent ahead. The sun is shining brightly, and Sasha excitedly urges Tommy to get ready so they can push toward the summit. They resume their climb, playfully and skillfully navigating the steep, snowy rock faces. However, as they reach a notoriously difficult section of the mountain, Sasha loses her grip, slips, and falls. Fortunately, her safety ropes catch her, and it's nothing serious. But Sasha is deeply frustrated. This specific spot always trips her up. Tommy, acting as the voice of reason, gently asks her to relax, take her time, and not rush it. Sasha tries the ascent again, but she falls once more. Seeing her mounting frustration and noticing dark clouds gathering in the distance, Tommy suggests they call it a day and try again tomorrow. But Sasha is stubborn. Driven by an intense, fearless need to succeed, she refuses to stop and pushes herself harder, repeatedly failing the ascent. As a massive storm begins to form overhead, she finally, reluctantly agrees to head back down to their camp. Back at the tent, the tension between them boils over. Tommy expresses deep concern about Sasha's reckless fearlessness. He confesses that he is exhausted and feels he doesn't have many more dangerous climbs left in him. Sasha dismissively replies that he always complains when things get tough, but Tommy is serious. He points to his trusty compass and solemnly states that a climber's luck eventually runs out, and his internal compass is telling him his time is up. Annoyed by his negativity, Sasha angrily brushes him off. As the storm worsens, they decide to quickly descend the mountain. High-speed winds begin tearing debris from the peaks above them. They press themselves flat against the rock walls, keeping their heads low to avoid the falling rocks. Tommy suggests they move down to a lower, safer ledge. Sasha descends first, securing her position. But suddenly, massive boulders break loose from the mountain above. One of the heavy rocks crashes directly into Tommy. He is knocked unconscious and begins to fall. Sasha screams in sheer terror. She tightly grips the safety rope, arresting his fall. Tommy is dangling helplessly in the air, his dead weight pulling Sasha down the slippery rock face. She desperately screams for him to wake up, but he doesn't respond. The physical strain is agonizing. Unable to hold his weight any longer, the rope slips from her grasp. She watches in absolute horror as Tommy plummets down the mountain to his death, leaving Sasha alone on the cliff face, traumatized and clinging to her own life. 5 months later, the story shifts to the sprawling, sun-baked canyons of Australia. Sasha, still grieving and carrying Tommy's old compass for comfort, drives her SUV toward a remote national park. She stops at the ranger station to register her trip. The ranger is highly concerned when she states she is going in alone. He points to a board filled with missing person posters, warning her that many experienced hikers have vanished in this exact jungle. Ignoring his warnings, Sasha stubbornly signs the register anyway, seeking the isolation of the deep wilderness. Before heading into the wild, she stops at a local supermarket to buy supplies. As she walks in, a socially awkward, creepy man tries to talk to her. He and his friend cornered her near the checkout counter, making her incredibly uncomfortable. The cashier, noticing her distress, steps in. He politely interrupts, asking the men how his homemade beef jerky is selling, and subtly tells them to leave Sasha alone. The men back off. The cashier apologizes for their behavior, and Sasha, grateful for the help, buys a pack of his homemade jerky. Later, outside by her car, Sasha is struggling to read her topographical map. She spots the helpful cashier nearby and asks for directions. He asks if she wants the easy way or the hard way through the jungle. Sasha confidently replies she just wants the best way. He points out a specific route starting at Blackstone Bay, recommending a secluded, empty camping area nearby. Sasha thanks him and sets off. As evening falls, Sasha sets up her camp by a quiet lake, making sure to keep her pepper spray within arm's reach. To her extreme dismay, the creepy men from the supermarket drive up to the lake. They are a group of hunters. fresh from killing a deer. They aggressively invite her over to drink with them, but she firmly refuses and locks herself inside her car. One of the hunters presses his face against her window, flashing a disturbing smile and claiming they are just trying to be nice before finally walking away. Sasha spends a tense, sleepless night in her car, only feeling relieved when she hears their truck drive away at dawn. The next morning, she inflates her raft and begins paddling down a fast-moving river. She stops occasionally to swim and enjoy the solitude. Eventually, she reaches the area near Blackstone Bay. As she sets up her camp, she notices scattered belongings, abandoned. Camping gear that likely belonged to the missing hikers the ranger warned her about. Trying to shake off her unease, she eats some of the beef jerky she bought and wisely hangs her food bag high up in a tree to keep it away from animals. She sleeps soundly, but when she wakes up the next morning, her food bag is completely gone. To make matters worse, she finds a venomous snake slithering inside her tent. Panicking, she grabs her raft and quickly paddles further down the river to escape. While navigating the river, she spots what looks like a primitive man-made den hidden in the brush. Cautiously approaching, she is incredibly relieved to find the polite cashier from the supermarket living there. He warmly introduces himself as Ben. Sasha explains that she isn't having fun anymore. She tells Ben that an animal stole her bag containing all her food and her cell phone. Ben smoothly suggests it was probably a wombat. He tells her not to worry, stating he always packs twice as much as he needs and offers to share his supplies. Sasha gratefully accepts. Ben begins preparing some fresh fish for them over a fire. He notices her eating the Geno's beef jerky she bought from him and explains he named it after his mother. As they eat, Ben shows her how to collect fresh drinking water from the trees. Sasha asks where he is from. Ben explains that his mother brought him to this jungle when he was a kid. Noting his accent, Sasha guesses he is from Britain. Ben laughs, violently stabbing the fish with his knife, and says she is right. Ben then correctly guesses that Sasha is a mountain climber, noting her scarred hands. Sasha tells him she is entirely done with climbing. Ben assumes she quit because of a bad breakup with her climbing partner. Sasha corrects him, stating she is just trying to stay away from the noise of the world. She mentions the creepy hunters who harassed her at her campsite. Ben's demeanor shifts. He states that most hunters aren't like that. Good hunters respect the wilderness and use what they kill, rather than just using hunting as an excuse to drink. He then says something that makes Sasha's blood run cold. They weren't that dangerous. Just trying to scare you. I know. I saw how you handled them. Sasha freezes. Ben admits he was secretly watching her camp that entire night, claiming he just wanted to make sure a woman alone in the woods was safe. He bursts into a bizarre, unsettling laugh, telling Sasha she is special, just like his mother. Deeply unnerved, Sasha puts her plate down and attempts to quietly leave, but Ben stops her. She suddenly notices that Ben is wearing her missing bracelet. Ben ducks into his den, throws her stolen bag at her feet, and emerges holding a loaded crossbow and a portable speaker. He turns on a song. He tells Sasha he has restocked her essentials and looking at her running shoes. He chillingly declares, "You've got until this song ends to run as far away from me as you can." Ben then begins to dance maniacally to the music. Sasha snatches her bag and sprints into the jungle in absolute terror. She reaches her raft, frantically paddling down the river. As the music fades in the distance, Ben begins his hunt. Sasha hits a sudden, violent waterfall, plummeting over the edge and striking her head hard underwater. She loses her raft, desperately swimming to the shore. She runs blindly through the dense jungle, scrambling up a steep rock face. Hearing the sound of people talking above her, she screams for help. But as she crests the cliff, she realizes the voices are coming from a video playing on a cell phone left on the ground. It is a video of the missing family, cheerfully saying hi to Ben. Suddenly, an arrow slams into the dirt right next to her. Ben appears at the edge of the cliff, smiling. Sasha takes off again, flying through the thick jungle as Ben relentlessly pursues her, shooting deadly arrows from the trees. One arrow pierces straight through her backpack, throwing her off balance. She tumbles violently down a steep, rocky ravine, plunging back into the raging river. She fights the strong current, eventually dragging her bruised and battered body onto the muddy shore. She checks her bag, finding her pepper spray, and keeps it firmly gripped in her hand. Knowing she can't outrun him on flat ground, Sasha decides to use her elite rock climbing skills. Despite her lack of equipment and her physical exhaustion, she carefully scales a massive, sheer rock wall. Reaching a high vantage point in the open daylight, using her binoculars, she scans the jungle below and spots her abandoned raft. Suddenly, a terrifying animalistic scream echoes through the trees. Scattering the birds, she spots Ben sprinting directly toward her position. She hides, peeking out moments later, only to find Ben standing perfectly still at the bottom of the cliff, staring directly up at her with a psychotic smile. Sasha quietly climbs down the opposite side of the rock face, hiding herself deep within a narrow crevice. Ben searches the area above, but fails to spot her. Once he leaves, she sprints back into the jungle. She reaches a spot near the river and hears music playing. Through her binoculars, she sees her raft tied to the shore, and Ben diving naked into the water nearby. Seizing the opportunity, Sasha silently slips into the river, swimming toward the raft to steal it back. She tries to untie the knot but fails. As she steps onto the muddy bank to uproot the mooring pole, a hidden, rusted bear trap slams shut around her leg with a sickening crunch. Sasha screams in agony. The noise alerts Ben. He quickly pulls on his trousers and sprints toward her. Sasha desperately tries to pull the trap free, but as Ben closes in, she helplessly dives back into the water, dragging the heavy chain behind her. Ben grabs the chain and violently hauls her back to the shore. As he pulls her close, Sasha whips out her pepper spray and blasts him directly in the eyes. Ben screams, momentarily blinded, washing his eyes in the river. Sasha spots his loaded crossbow sitting on a rock. She lunges for it, but Ben grabs the chain, violently jerking her backward. He snatches the crossbow first and aims it directly at her, ordering her to toss the pepper spray into the river. Defeated, she complies. Ben then slowly approaches her trapped leg, pries the metal jaws open, and coldly tells her to get up. Sasha asks if this is all just a sick game to him. Ben softly replies, "It's not a game, it's a ritual." Ben drags Sasha back to his hidden den, binding her hands and legs tightly with heavy chains. He leaves to gather wild fruits and returns, feeding her a piece. He comments that she doesn't seem to like being tied up, casually stating that there is something very special about her. He reminds her that he gave her the choice of the easy way or the hard way at the supermarket. As a heavy rainstorm begins, Sasha sits shivering in her chains while Ben watches her intensely from the darkness. He rambles about the importance of rituals, stating they remind us of who we truly are. He chillingly asks if she has ever heard of the ancient tribes who file their own teeth down into razor-sharp points. The next morning, Ben forces Sasha onto a small wooden boat. She asks where he is taking her.